Before we begin, if you like what you hear on the Tan and J-Man Show, don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, and go ahead and click subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We encourage you to interact with us and keep up to date with the Tan and J-Man Show on social media by liking our Facebook page and following us on Twitter and Instagram at Tan and J-Man Show. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode of the Tan and J-Man Show with your hosts Tanner Lee and Josh the J-Man Munt. Good evening, Tan and J-Man Show Nation, for the 189th time. Welcome back to the Tan and J-Man Show Sports Podcast. Tanner Lee here with Josh the J-Man Munt. What is going on, J-Man?
It's humid today.
It is a hot one.
Humidity and the J-Man don't work very well together.
Not a fan.
Doesn't mix.
Not a fan. Yeah, I'm sure. What'd you say you drank? How many bottles of water at work?
10. 120 ounces, and I still felt a little dehydrated afterwards. So
It's a lot of liquid.
Yes.
A lot of fluids. Well, the Tan and J-Man Show is brought to you by, like it is every week, The Damn Landing. Whether you want an epic burger, hand-tossed pizza, hand-breaded tenderloin seafood, craft beer, or a handcrafted cocktail, which sounds really good on a nice refreshing one right now with how hot it is, The Damn Landing is the place to be. Damn Landing is a bar and grill located on beautiful Lake Manitou that focuses on freshness and quality. And, of course, they got the damn smoke every weekend. So you got the barbecue, you got ribs, you got steaks, you got all the good stuff, all the meats. You know, it's 4th of July coming up on Saturday.
Get your meats.
It's a good time for grilling out. But if you don't feel like going through the hassle of preparing, grilling, getting everybody together, go to the Damn Landing. Great place to go. And in addition to all of those great meats we just talked about, you can wash them down with one of their 16 beers on tap, including a constant rotation of today's best micro brews and domestic flavors, or a handcrafted cocktail made using fresh ingredients. Taking them fantastic views of Lake Manitou in their beer garden or outdoor bar area, whether it be by boat or by wheels, the Damn Landing is the place to be. Located at 1305 Ewing Road in Rochester. You can call them at 574-223-8950.
I bet the dam will be popping this weekend.
I bet you're correct,
especially
my friend.
Friday night. People are in town for the 4th.
Bet you're correct.
Get your meats.
Of course, celebrate following the social distance guidelines.
Oh, yeah, that's still going on.
That's still kind of going on.
Yeah. Right here, some Birdie Bogey.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm hoping for another bird.
Big Ten Network released their all-decade Big Ten basketball teams.
Saw that.
Third team, second team, first team.
We can talk about that a little bit later.
Talk about that a little later. But that got me thinking, who was the all-time career leading scorer in the past decade, from 2010 through to 2019? So, who was it? Some good players played in the past
I'm going to have to think about that.
9-10 years. So, Birdie Bogey is brought to you by Noble Gnome LLC. Fresh, locally grown, nutrient-dense produce from Bryce and Katie Romine of Mentone, Indiana. Like them on Facebook. Follow them on Instagram. Check out their website, noblegnomellc.com. On their Facebook page, they said over the weekend they were at the Kosciuszko County Farmers Market, where they had radishes, turnips, beets, garlic scapes, zucchini, Swiss chard, kale, green frise, lettuce heads.
I was going to say your guess is as good as mine there. We're going to have to get clarification on that one.
Cilantro. Do you like cilantro?
No.
Do you have they say 50% of people have the gene where cilantro tastes like soap to them. Do you have that gene?
I wouldn't say it tastes like soap. No. Just not a fan. I can't think I've ever ate anything that I would compare to soap.
Because they say 50% of people have it.
No, I'm not 50% of those people.
I am not one of those people either. I love cilantro. Basil, summer squash, cabbage. Get your veggies.
I swear, one of these weeks you're just going to get stuck. And I'm not going to know what to do. It's going to be really awkward. But what's not awkward is a bunch of sporting events that have happened on June 29th throughout history. Ready to get edumacated?
Let's hear it.
Okay. On this day in 1897,
long time ago,
the Chicago Colts established an MLB record for most runs scored in a game by one team as they smoked The Louisville Colonels. I couldn't. How do you pronounce that? Colonels. 36-7 at the West Side Grounds in Chicago.
Neato.
Didn't even know they were Chicago Colts.
Yes.
I did not know that. Let's see here. A lot of old tennis and early British Open. On this day in 1956, American Charles Dumas recorded the first high jump over 7 feet during the U.S. Olympic trials at the Los Angeles, California, in the Coliseum.
What do you think you could get on the high jump?
I don't even know if I could do 5 foot.
No shot. There's no way I'd be able to.
I'd like to think I could do 4.5. I'm only 5'9".
4.5, you'd have to go.
I could get up there a little bit.
No shot. I don't know if I could do like 3 feet.
I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit.
I don't even really want to try because I don't want to be seriously injured.
That would be a pretty entertaining video.
Yeah, for everyone except me.
On this day in 1961, San Francisco outfielder Willie Mays became the 4th player at the time in MLB history with 3 or more home runs twice in one season.
Wow.
When he hit a 10th inning blast in the Giants' 8-7 win over the Phillies in Philadelphia.
He wasn't bad.
No,
he's on here a lot as well.
I was just gonna say
Ted
that.
Williams.
Ted Williams. On this day, 1969, on Billy Williams' Day at Wrigley Field, the Cubs outfielder passed Stan Musial's NL record for consecutive MLB games played, 896, as the Cubs swept the Cardinals by scores of 3-1 and 12-1.
That Cubs team in 1969 was legendary for their choke job. I think they're up 10 games heading into September. Black Cat ran across the dugout. Oh, it might not have been 10 games, but just add it to their list of choke jobs.
Imagine if that happened nowadays with the J-Man on Twitter.
Well, it pretty much happened.
Which you can follow him at MudDog16.
2018, I think they were
if
up
you want
5.5.
Get a lot of baseball rants coming up here in a couple weeks, which we'll get into.
2004 was bad.
You weren't on Twitter.
Not in 2004.
On this day in 1984, Oral Hershiser began a string of making every start until 1990.
Wow.
So 6 straight years.
Cubs were not up 10 games in September. They were up 5 games. But they ended up 8 games back.
Yeah, that's not good.
Lost 13 games on the Mets,
pretty bad.
including a 10-game losing streak.
On this day, also in 1984, Pete Rose played in a record 3,309th game consecutively, surpassing Carl Yastrzemski.
Nice pronunciation.
Man, I'm struggling tonight. I even went over these earlier to practice, and I'm doing worse than if I just...
Did you practice out loud?
No. Did not practice in front of my mirror either.
Should have.
On this day in 1986, the Boston Red Sox traded for Tom Seaver. Also on this day in 1986, Sparky Anderson became the first manager to win 600 games as a manager in both leagues.
Sparky.
On this day in 1992, the NHL decided Eric Lindros was going to go to the Flyers instead of the Rangers. I bring that up because I think we just brought that up last week. How he was the number 1 draft pick one year or something.
Yes, he was just mentioned.
And I talked about him being a Flyer.
Man. So the NHL nixed the deal, and
yeah, they said he was going to the Flyers instead of the Rangers. I don't know if there was some
kind of
controversial draft holdout thing, or not playing for this team, playing for another team, or if it was a trade. I don't remember what the on this day event was last week with Lindros that you said.
The thing people don't remember Chris Paul was traded to he traded to the Lakers?
Yep.
And the NBA said, nope.
Yep.
Not happening.
Yep. And nixed that one. And on this day, 1994, the NBA draft was held in Indianapolis, Indiana.
94.
In the Hoosier Dome. Who was the first pick?
94. Larry Johnson.
How about Glenn the Big Dog Robinson out of Purdue to the Milwaukee Bucks?
For some reason I thought he was like 96 or 97.
94. And I did not know until today that was held in Indianapolis. I had at the Hoosier Dome. I had no idea. So So that is the on this day.
That's it?
Yep, sporting events that happened on June 29th. We didn't have a ton.
Nothing's happened in 26 years.
Didn't have a ton, but of course that is brought to you by Proforma Print House. If you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for your next trade show, company picnic, or sales meeting, Proforma Print House has over 50 years combined experience in promotional products and commercial print. They strive for fast and efficient response to all your print needs. You need to look no further. Let them be your one-source print and promotional company. You can give them a call today at 574-210-3815.
Yes, sir.
Well, Jay, man, it's kind of funny looking back a week ago. I even titled episode 188, MLB Return Not Looking Good. The very next day, they announced the MLB's coming back.
Yeah. So this could all been alleviated, as I've talked for a month.
Broken record.
A month now. I'm a broken record. If the owners would have just agreed to pay them fully prorated. But the players will get their fully prorated salary of 60 game season starting July 23rd or 24th. Spring Training 2.0 will start on July 1st. Each team will play...
This week, Wednesday.
Yeah, 2 days.
Yep.
Each team will play 40 divisional games and 20 out-of-division regional games. Each division will play the same division in the opposite league. So, like NL Central will play the AL Central. That's kind of how that works, which makes sense. Active roster starts at 30. Then after 15 days from the start of the season, it drops to 28. Then after 30 days from the start of the season, the roster drops to 26. There is a 30-man taxi squad. You can only take up to 3 taxi squad players on the road, but 1 must be a catcher. Players on the taxi squad will not get any Major League service time. Most rosters came out yesterday. Cubs only have a 50-man roster right now, but they can add 10 more because it's 60 total, but 30 will be on the taxi squad to start the year. During extra inning games, each half inning will start with a runner on second. The batter who made the final out of the last inning, or a pinch runner, will be the runner on second.
You like that or not?
Hate it. Well, for for this
time
year,
to try experimental things.
Right. For this, they did this in the minor leagues last year. And for this year, it makes sense. Might as well. This is a season. It doesn't really feel like a baseball season.
No.
So you might as well just try anything you can out that you want to try. Now, I will not like it if it is this way going forward. I kind of am warming up to the idea of what the NHL does, a version of what the NHL does, go on a point system where if it is still tied after the 12th inning, each team gets a point and it's just considered a tie, or half a point, whatever, wins a point, something like that. I've warmed up to that idea. I would prefer to just play until someone wins because that's extra innings are fun. Players might not like it.
Yeah.
Fans love it. At least to watch on TV. Usually people don't stay around that long.
Well, we'll have to worry about that this year for extra inning games.
The problem with that is games will end real quick, and the better team might not win.
Yeah,
but that's kind of what it's going to be this year, I guess. During extra inning games, we're going to start in a second. There will be a separate injured list for players that test positive or have symptoms / confirmed exposures to COVID-19. There will be no maximum or minimum days on the injured list. Players that do test positive will have to isolate until they have 2 negative COVID-19 tests, each taken 24 hours apart. No fever for at least 72 hours, and team physician in a committee consisting of 2 doctors and 1 non-medical representative from Major League Baseball and the MLBPA deemed that the person does not pose a risk of spreading infection. Players are allowed to opt out of the season and still get paid if they are a high-risk person or live with a high-risk person, like a pregnant wife or a significant other dealing with cancer. Players who also are cancer survivors, like I didn't even think about Anthony Rizzo and John Lester. Anthony Rizzo did say today he's planning on playing. Haven't heard anything from John Lester yet. I assume he's going to play, but who knows? He has 2 or 3 young kids at home. So who knows? And really, you can't really fault the guys for opting out and I'm sure people will rip on them.
Oh, people
that's just
will.
not fair at all.
So
we had multiple players opt out today. Mike Leake for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And the players who opt out that are not a high-risk person or live with a high-risk person, they are not automatically going to get paid. Now, the teams, it's up to the team's discretion. They can pay them. And really, it'd be a bad look if they don't pay them, but they're not required to anyway.
So this still counts as a full year for a player's contracts, right?
Yes, it does.
So, like, if this is the last year of their contract, they're still a free agent next year.
Correct, and that's what Mike Leake, this is the final year of his $5 million deal, and I think we'll see a lot of players in the final year of their contract with smaller money like that opt out, just so, because this is a year where you could have, 10 starts because it's only 60 games, and those 10 starts could be really bad, and that could screw you over for.
That's a good point.
So you could see a lot of players doing that. Ryan Zimmerman was probably the biggest name that opted out that I've seen so far.
You think we'll see any bigger names?
I think so.
Yeah.
No Cub, as of yet, has opted out, and no Cub player has tested positive. That they've announced anyway. But COVID-19 testing every other day as well. This is kind of an interesting one. There's a ban on spitting.
Oh, yeah.
Players will be fined if they are seen spitting.
We're going to see a lot of fines, probably.
This it's just a natural reaction. People have been spitting on a baseball field forever.
You have to reteach yourself, re-educate, really.
This includes sunflower seeds, tobacco, etc. No high fives either.
Yep.
Can't do that.
How about fist bumps?
Does that categorize as a high five? Who knows?
I see more people doing that stuff than high fives, like on PGA Tour. So,
do you know who invented the high five?
No.
Dusty Baker.
Invented the high five.
Yes, that is the universal time the high five was invented, 1977.
I would have guessed it was like 1800s.
Glenn Burke, after Dusty Baker, he hit a homer or something, and Glenn Burke ran out with his hand up high like that, and Dusty didn't know what to do, so he just smacked it.
What did the other guy expect him to do?
Right, that's the thing, but Dusty Baker takes credit for it.
And I don't know about that.
1977. Seems like it's been around a lot longer. But then you look at games from before that, and you see everyone shaking hands when they score.
Smacking them on the rear end.
Or smacking them on the rear end. You don't see any. I wonder who created the fist bump.
Yeah, I feel like that was more of a 90s thing. Got created by somebody.
I'm a big fan of the fist bump. I still fist bump people.
Yeah.
If you have a disagreement with an umpire, you cannot get within 6 feet, or you will be automatically ejected.
Lou Piniella would have struggled with that one.
Subjected to suspension or heavy fine. They are banning brawls, which
darn
they pretty much do that anyway. What's going to stop a guy from running out and beating somebody up? They're going to get suspended either way. I mean, I don't know how they're going to stop that. Universal DH.
I like that one, of course.
Yes, and hopefully that
sticks.
They say it's only for this year.
Hopefully it sticks.
But I can see that one sticking because the players have wanted it since 2011 at least.
Nobody goes to games to see the pitchers hit.
Correct. I mean, they say, well, it makes the National League different. You look at all the other sports leagues. There's no difference in the NFC or AFC. Yeah. No difference in the NBA East or NBA West.
AFC now you got to go for 2-point conversions every time after you score. NFC, you kick extra points.
I like that. I like it.
I don't. The Dolphins cost me a lot of money failing a 2-point conversion.
That's why I like it. Trade deadline will be August 31st in the middle of a pandemic.
When you told me that before we went on the air, I was surprised because I thought 60 games, they're not going to do a trade deadline.
Right. There's going to be so many teams. I mean, that's 30 games. There's going to be so many teams
bunched
right
up
there. I would say almost all 30 teams will be right there at that time. Maybe not a team like
There'll be a couple outliers.
Orioles or Marlins.
That's my hope for the World Series right there.
If you trade for a guy, does he have to self-quarantine for 10 to 14 days before he can even strap it on?
If that's the case, which I could see it being, is it even worth trading because you're going to miss them? They're going to miss a huge chunk.
Plus, it'll only be
unless you're absolutely positive you're going to make postseason.
Even if they don't have to self-quarantine, you just get them for 30 days, 30 games. I mean, in the postseason,
unless you're just dead certain you're going to make it,
there's not 100% guarantee a postseason will be played. Who knows what happens? 2 months from
now. Bridich, the general manager of the Colorado Rockies, said today, this season's only going to be played if the virus allows it.
Sure. That's the only thing right now. We have 3 weeks from Thursday when the first game is reported to be the Yankees at the Washington
Which
Nationals.
would be Scherzer against Garrett Cole.
It'd be a
That'd
fun
little matchup.
Those dugouts would be raucous.
But it's going to be interesting because as of right now, and I know a lot can change in 3 weeks for the better or the worse, how can teams play at the Rangers Stadium or where the Astros play or the Rays play or the Marlins play? I mean, we're seeing those states just spike right now in cases. They're hot spots, but
that's the thing.
I don't know. I'm glad I don't get paid to figure that stuff out.
Players that are not going to be in the game, like starting pitchers that pitched, that aren't scheduled to pitch, they'll be either sitting in the clubhouse or up in the stands. Stands make sense. If you're not going to have fans there anyway, might as well just have or injured players.
Give them some of those inflatable things that you blow up and you
boomsticks.
Boomsticks, yeah.
Vuvuzelas, remember those? The World Cup.
Oh man, that was a trend for like a year. Yeah, give them some of those. You see what the Giants are doing, or offering their season ticket holders for $99. Oh. A season ticket holder can get a cardboard cutout of themselves made and implement it in the seat they usually sit in.
Stupid.
Very dumb, in my opinion.
Stupid. $99 to do that. Yep. My suggestion is, and it's not my suggestion, I've seen it on Twitter, but I think it's kind of interesting. You have like a Zoom call up on the video board to where you can watch it through Zoom and you get the crowd noise and all that from that. Now, if somebody, you could clearly hear what people are saying. I don't know how it would work, but that'd be a little bit of crowd noise.
Wouldn't want J-Man on Zoom during the Cup game. Lester over or throws a double hopper to first.
Speaking of pitchers, a pitcher cannot use the same ball another pitcher does.
That makes sense. They're individual rosin bags too, right? I read that somewhere.
Yes, and instead of them licking their fingers, because a lot of pitchers lick their fingers,
so do quarterbacks.
They can take a wet rag out with them.
That's weird.
It's so weird. This is probably the most interesting one I've seen. I actually haven't seen it anywhere, but Ian Happ has a podcast. He's a Cub outfielder. He's
also a really good golfer. J-Man told me.
He is a good golfer, and he's only been playing for a couple years.
Just is fantastic.
Bad, doesn't it? But he is the Cubs representative on the Players Association, so he would know more than a lot of people would. But he said each batting practice ball must be sanitized and cannot be used for 5 days after each use.
Just throw them out.
Can you imagine how many balls are going to go through?
I mean,
it's insane.
Rawlings is loving it.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna make bank off it.
As I said,
is that the only baseball company they use? Probably.
Rawlings.
I mean, you would think the league itself just uses
used
one.
to be. Oh, what was it? New Era. I don't know who makes the baseballs though.
I think it's Rawlings. I'm gonna look it up.
That's all I really got on this. I got
something, but I'm gonna look this up first.
A couple other things. No pregame lineup card exchange. It
is Rawlings.
3 batter minimum that they actually imposed before.
Man, on here it says this is official Major League Baseball. For one ball, it's signed by Manfred, by the way, or the
official ball.
It's $22.79 for one ball.
Imagine how many balls they go through.
He said how many balls are going to go through with this. Holy cow!
The good thing is you'll get all those home run balls you hit in batting practice back.
True. Yeah, if you hit a record home run ball of some sort, you can get it back.
Yeah.
But we're going to see some balls go crazy far in the stadium due to fans not there to stop them or them ricocheting off seats and going into the concourse.
It's going to be fun.
So there will be some entertaining. And it'll be nice just to watch sports, another sport again on TV.
If a player is not on the 40-man roster, he cannot be removed from the 60-man roster unless he's released. If If a player is on the 40-man roster, he can be removed from the 60-man roster, but he would be exposed to waivers first. A lot of people are putting their big-time prospects that aren't even close to the majors on this taxi squad just to get them as many at-bats as possible.
Minor league, is that happening this year or not?
Nah.
No.
I can't imagine.
Okay. I had not seen anything about it. So.
Yeah, that's why I think because Cubs are putting like their top 3 or 4 prospects on the not named Nico Horner because he'll be on the major league side of things. But let's see.
I have the DraftKings Sportsbook over-under for MLB win totals for every team. If we want to go over that real quick.
I favorited that one on the tweeter.
I'm actually going to have you guess each team.
Okay.
See how close you are. Arizona Diamondbacks.
Playing 60 games, right?
Yep.
28.5.
31.5. Atlanta Braves should be pretty good this year.
35.5.
33.5. Baltimore Orioles.
20.5.
Exactly 20.5. I think they are the lowest, I believe. Boston Red Sox.
32.5.
Close. 31.5. The Chicago Cubs.
32.5.
32.5.
Amen.
The Chicago White Sox.
30.5.
31.5. So one game behind the Cubs. The Cincinnati Reds.
34.5.
31.5.
Oh.
Cleveland Indians.
I probably shouldn't be saying this out loud, but I was looking at the Reds roster, and I think they're going to be really good. And
I like the facial expression you just made there.
Hopefully this is just the J-Man kiss of death like usual. But that lineup's loaded, especially with a universal DH. I think it helps them out immensely.
If there ever has to be a year the Reds win the World Series, it could be this year. Then you can, it was only a 60-game season. More teams made the playoffs than ever.
It's a sham.
Yeah. I'm sure Red fans would take it in a heartbeat. Cleveland Indians.
They're an interesting team. They traded Corey Kluber away to the Texas Rangers.
I didn't even know he was
30.5.
32.5. The Colorado Rockies.
30.5.
26.5. Pretty low for the Rockies.
I don't think they're supposed to be very good.
They are not supposed to be good. And their pitching is going to be terrible like usual. The Detroit Tigers.
22.5.
21.5.
Yeah, they're going to be. I think they'll be worse than Baltimore.
The cheating Houston Astros.
36.5.
35.5. Kansas City Royals.
23.5.
Right on the dot. 23.5. It's amazing to think they won the World Series a handful of years ago.
5 years ago. That's it.
Los Angeles Angels.
32.5.
31.5.
I think they'll be pretty good. They don't have much pitching, though. That offense should be able to score.
The Los Angeles Dodgers. They're loaded.
38.5.
37.5. Miami Marlins.
24.5.
24.5 is correct. The Milwaukee Brewers.
30.5.
30.5 is correct. Minnesota Twinkies, the Twins.
33.5.
34.5.
Wow.
The New York Mets.
27.5.
32.5. I thought that was a little generous.
Super generous.
The New York Yankees.
36.5.
37.5.
Same as the Dodgers. Huh?
Yep. Oakland Athletics.
34.5.
33.5.
Man.
Philadelphia Phillies.
32.5.
31.5. We're getting pretty close. The Pittsburgh Pirates.
24.5.
25.5.
Man.
San Diego Padres.
30.5.
Got it. 30.5. San Francisco Giants.
28.5.
25.5. Seattle Mariners.
21.5.
24.5.
I don't think they'll be that good.
St. Louis Cardinals.
They're the highest in the division.
No.
31.5.
32.5. Tied with the Cubs.
Tied with the Cubs, okay.
Tampa Bay Rays.
35.5.
33.5.
I think they'll be pretty good.
Texas Rangers.
30.5. 26.5.
28.5.
Of course, we don't know who's all going to opt out yet or anything.
Toronto Blue Jays.
27.5.
27.5 is correct. And the Washington Nationals, the defending World Series champions.
Lost Anthony Rendon. Nice. That pitching staff's still good. 34.5.
33.5.
Dirty Dan at third.
And that is the DraftKings over-under for win totals for every MLB team.
I like it. You know what really grinds my gears?
What's that?
people that think Cam Newton is still an elite starting
Caliber
quarterback who is going to make the New England Patriots a Super Bowl contender once again.
Cam. I like
really
doing that. I'm sorry.
Grinds my gears. He's lost 8 straight starts. He has had a foot injury, missed 14 games last year. His arm just looks completely gone. It just looks dead. And he will arguably have the worst receiving core in the National Football League. You want to hear the receiving core in New England?
Got Julian Edelman.
Julian Edelman, wide receiver 1.
You got Harry.
N'Keal Harry, wide receiver 3.
I don't know if I can name anybody else.
Mohamed Sanu.
Oh, yeah.
Is their second one. Their starting tight end, you should know this
Matt
one.
Lacoste.
Matt Lacoste.
Illini and former Bronco.
Is Devin Asiasi.
I mean, he was like third string for the Broncos.
Yeah, he caught maybe 25 balls.
He's not a pass-catching tight end. He's a blocker.
We don't know if Cam even has the legs anymore to move around.
He's not guaranteed a starting spot either.
Over 30 years old. But the way Twitter was all about it last night, and now you hear him, people saying he's not paid enough.
Why did the Patriots
MVP.
wait so long? If this was their plan, I don't think this was their plan because they could have had him a month or two ago.
I think I said it on Friday because my dad brought it up. Said, why isn't Cam signed with the Patriots or something? I said, well, if he would have signed with the Patriots, he would have done it already.
Yeah,
and he does 2 days later.
Minimum 1-year deal.
Incentive laden, so I mean he could make. I don't know what his deal is incentive wise.
He and Jameis Winston combined are making less than Chase Daniel.
Is Chase Daniel still with the Bears?
I think so.
That's
but when you throw 386 picks a year like Jameis Winston, I mean, I wouldn't pay more than what the Saints paid for him either.
Chase Daniel's with the Lions.
Couldn't have told you that.
Couldn't have either.
Crud. That means David Blau's probably third string if he still has a job with him.
Probably gonna get cut.
Well, he had his half moment in the first half of the Thanksgiving game. But yeah, Cam Newton, former NFL MVP 2015, but he's broken half in the Super Bowl 50 and never been the same since.
It's been a long time, 5 years now, since he won MVP. He's not that kind of quarterback anymore. Honestly, I think it's a coin flip whether he's their starting quarterback.
Him or Jarrett Stidham, second-year man out of Auburn.
They also have Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, I forgot about it. They went out and got Hoyer pretty much to groom Stidham in the offense.
Yes. I wouldn't be surprised to see Hoyer start more games than Cam Newton.
It'll be interesting to watch. Keep our eye on, assuming we do have an NFL season.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting storylines to look forward to. But talking about quarterbacks, I mentioned this to you before we started recording. The AFC quarterback situation across the grid's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Got a bunch of young
A lot of young blood.
Yeah.
Because the Patriots became the first team in NFL history to replace a former NFL MVP with a former NFL MVP in the same offseason.
Yeah, Phillip there in Indy.
Yep, he's an old man, but he's a new change of scenery with a really good offensive line. And you got old man Big Ben coming off a season that he missed.
Be interesting to see who's the starter in Miami because you got old man Fitzmagic.
I was already, I guess, in my head counting Tua, but you're right. Fitzmagic probably will start the season off. And then
I'll say Cam Newton is the third best quarterback in the AFC East.
Who are you putting him over?
I'm putting him over Sam Darnold.
Okay, so you are saying he's worse than Josh Allen.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm
Sam
saying
Darnold's not too bad either, though.
He's worse than Tua Tagovailoa.
Already. That's some high praise for never taking a snap in the NFL.
Could argue that Tua was the better college quarterback. Could argue it.
Good. They're both pretty good.
Yeah.
Both won national title. Heisman.
Yeah, they both did, didn't they?
2 won Heisman, right?
No.
No?
Joe Burrow won it this year.
Yeah.
Who won it?
I said that, and then now I'm just blanking. But I don't see Cam Newton moving the needle too much for this Patriots team. I think they're a
Kyler Murray.
Oh yeah, so Tua did not win it. That's just mistaken. So Cam is a better college quarterback than Tua. That solidifies it.
Nah.
But I think Cam, I think the Patriots are going to be about 6-10, 7-9 win team, 7-9 record team, 6-10, 7-9.
I still will.
I mean, they still got Belichick and
Yes.
McCheat, but
Yes.
we'll see.
The defense still should be pretty good.
I
They
just
did
don't think
lose.
the offense could be worth a darn.
It wasn't worth a darn last year, and you saw
Still
what
had Thomas.
happened.
Yeah, it went
last
downhill
year too.
fast.
Um,
No Gronk anymore.
they didn't have Gronk last year.
I know,
either, though.
and it hurt him.
No, wide receiving core was worse.
Edelman won't be
Was
the
just as
same
bad. No.
without Tommy.
Although Cam is similar in the fact that they don't really throw. He's never really thrown the ball way downfield. And Tom never has either. So it's short, quick. Of course, he'd be thrown to Christian McCaffrey.
He's learning a
Greg
new
Olsen.
offense.
I will say Cam's receiving core the year he won the Super Bowl was garbage.
Yeah, it was. They
I
had
mean,
a good defense.
Greg Olsen, but they led the NFL in scoring per game
Yeah,
that year.
they had good running backs.
They had Greg Olsen, who was kind of their number one
Yeah.
receiver. But their top actual wide receiver was Ted Ginn.
Wow.
He did catch 10 touchdowns, but and somehow he's still in the league 13 years later.
Special teams asset
Yes.
helps, but we're going to see. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Cam can win the starting job. But going around the AFC, I mean, division by division, we already went over to AFC East quarterbacks. AFC South, you got Gardner Minshew down in Jacksonville. He's young.
They're tanking for old Trav.
Yeah, he's got no chance. They're going to be the worst team in the league, in my opinion. You got Ryan Tannehill. Now he's got a big deal in Tennessee. Playoff winning at Foxborough, Ryan Tannehill.
I really like Ryan Tannehill.
And he beat the Ravens, too.
But I could see that thing just collapsing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You got new old man Philip Rivers, like we talked about in Indy. And then you got Deshaun Watson, young, really good quarterback in Houston.
Without DeAndre Hopkins, though.
Yes. Then the AFC North, you got old man Big Ben. You got Baker Mayfield, Cleveland, the big year for Baker coming up. You got the reigning NFL MVP Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. Then you got number 1 overall draft pick Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. So,
Cincinnati.
and then in the AFC West, you got Patrick Mahomes, arguably the best quarterback in the league. He is the best quarterback in the league. You got Derek Carr and Vegas. I almost said Oakland, Las Vegas. In Los Angeles for the Chargers, you either have Tyrod Taylor or Justin Herbert. And then you got Drew Lock out in Denver. So you got a bunch of young quarterbacks out there.
Who's the backup in Denver?
Jeff Driscoll for right now.
Jeff Driscoll's team.
Yeah, okay. So if that's the case, Broncos are in big trouble and probably looking for yet another new coach and a new GM and a new everything. Maybe a new team name. And then the NFC, you got older quarterbacks. You got Rodgers. You got Breeze. You got Tom Brady, but a new location,
Matt
of course,
Ryan.
in Tampa Bay. Matt Ryan.
Matt Stafford.
Yeah, quite a few older guys.
Even
but-
Russell Wilson's 30-something.
Is he?
I assume so. We're 28.
I think he's younger than Cam, or maybe right at Cam. He was playing for Wisconsin still in 2012.
I bet you $1,000 he's older.
No, I'm
than
not betting you nothing. You still owe me a one-on-one basketball game.
He's 31.
Okay.
You owe me $1,000.
No, I did not say that. I got
I've already
audio
beat you.
proof.
I've already beat you at basketball.
Pig does not count as a basketball game. As luck. It's shooting. No.
You're just admitting I'm a better shooter than you then.
You were on that night.
Every night.
No.
I bring it.
Very false. But yeah, but NFL, we'll keep seeing how. I mean, they're saying right now training camps are going to start on time and everything. So we're going to see.
Yeah. You know what else really grinds my gears?
You need to come up with a new name for that because you're stealing it from Peter Griffin.
Yes, I am stealing that for Patriot. Don't sue us, Fox. You know what really grates my apparatus?
What?
That ESPN and people think we care about J.R. Smith.
Yes.
He signed with the Lakers. He is one of the worst players ever to be as famous as he is.
It's a LeBron effect, man.
It is the LeBron effect. I don't know why LeBron's even friends with him after what happened in that NBA Finals game.
Pass the ball. What are you doing?
JR has only played 11 games since the start of 2018 season, where he averaged 6 points a game. He's 30. He'll be 35 in September. And ESPN's shoving him down our throats just because he's buddies with LeBron.
He's like Brian Windhorst, whatever his name is. Not
Brian
Horst.
Windhorst.
Windhorst, yeah.
Windhorst.
Windhorst.
Horst.
Yeah, just follows
Windhorst.
LeBron around everywhere, job to job.
Really great to my apparatus.
Yeah, it's NBA coming back relatively soon, too, into July. It's going to be interesting to see if there's any more players that come out and are saying they're not playing. Avery Bradley, I think is his name.
And that's why they signed J.R. Smith.
Yeah.
Which
There's a couple other guys, though.
I can honestly say I did not know Avery Bradley was with the Lakers. Until I
couldn't name you too many because the NBA just seems like the last time they played was just, it seems longer than March. Yeah. Somebody asked me the other day who I thought had the best chance to make the finals. I'm like, I don't know now.
Yeah, who knows now? I mean, it's 4 months.
Everybody's lost their momentum. Who's stayed in shape? Who hasn't?
Right. I mean, the Bucks are 53-12. They have the best record in the NBA. Lakers are 49-14.
And it would be a cool story with the Lakers with the passing of Kobe Bryant and everything. I don't know. It's a toss-up. It's actually going to be kind of exciting to watch. Intriguing, at least.
Yes. You know what I would love is if Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies beat LeBron and the Lakers in that 8-1 matchup.
If they get to the playoffs.
Well, they're up 3.5 games on Portland. But who knows?
8 games remaining, right, in regular season when they get down there.
And it's a whole different.
Yeah.
It's going to be a whole 4 months off.
And I guess there's no reason to have heard from them, but we've heard nothing from the players who aren't going down there, players for like the Bulls and other teams who aren't even close enough to contend to make the playoffs.
The East for years has been so much worse than the West. It's insane. An interesting development in the NBA anyway. Nikola Jokic tested positive, and he's in his home country. Is he from
Serbia? Well, he tested positive from that party that the tennis player we were just talking about.
Djokovic?
Yeah, that was
really?
Yep.
And they think he'll be able to fly back, but if he's not able to
then
for some
done.
reason, he's one of the best players in the league. I mean, they're the 3 seed right now.
And he transformed his body. Looked totally different than it did in March. He was a big boy. Now he's lost a ton of weight.
Speaking of guys that I guess have just gotten huge, is Luka Doncic. He's gotten kind of chubby. He's been partying a little too much. But they have a month to get
it back. He better get it going because the Dallas kind of depends on him.
Yeah, they're the 7th seed. I don't think. See, they're the 7th seed, but they're
still a good team.
They're only like 5 games behind the 2 seed.
Yeah, it's a lot really clustered there.
So, be interesting though. We still have.
I don't even remember our preseason. I think we both had the Clippers in the finals.
I think I had the Clippers winning it.
Did I have the Sixers beating the Clippers? I think I did.
Sixers are the 6th seed.
I know. I think I had them winning it all in the preseason.
They're tied with the Pacers in that 5-6.
I give the Pacers no shot.
I think I might have had the Bucks just because I'm a big Giannis fan. Have been forever.
I think I gave you grief for not picking the Bucks though.
Maybe I picked Boston.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to go back and see. I do have it in the archives.
It's like a lot of work.
I just go back and find the episode from October. Play it. I'll do that for next week.
The East playoffs are pretty much at least who the 8 teams are going to be. They invited one more. The NBA did, and it's the Washington Wizards, who for some reason just cannot be good. They have 2 really good players in John Wall and Bradley Beal.
They stink. They missed their chance. Like years ago when they're like the 4 seed for a couple of back-to-back seasons.
Brad Beal is 2nd in the NBA in scoring per game, over 30 points a game. No one's even talking about it.
I couldn't even told you who's in the MVP race right now. I just forget.
Harden's leading. It might be Giannis. Could be Kawhi. Could be LeBron. I don't know. But
wasn't Damian Lillard having a good season too? Or no?
We'll see about that.
I know his team wasn't, but
he had that stretch where he had a bunch of.
See, I don't know.
28.9 points a game, 7.8 assists.
Points per game.
Yes, I'm pretty sure. Whatchamacallit, what's his name? James Harden is leading the points per game.
It'll be weird to not see the Golden State Warriors in the playoffs.
Yeah, they were the single worst team in the NBA this year.
Yeah, but you know what's going to happen? They're just going to rebuild.
Yeah,
they might get themselves the number 1 draft pick, and then they might try to get the Greek Freak too.
Yes, James Harden's leading the NBA in points per game, 34 points a game. Then Brad Beal, then Giannis, Trae Young is fourth, 29 points a game. Then Lillard, Luka Doncic at 19, 20 years old, 28 points a game. Then Westbrook, Kawhi, Anthony Davis, Devin Booker.
Did you remember Westbrook was even on the Rockets?
Yeah, because I remember Chris Paul,
Yeah, he actually didn't throw any fits this year on the Thunder.
And they're actually a lot better than I think most people thought.
I think Billy Donovan.
5 seed,
Billy Donovan deserves coach of the year.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's a good one.
Yep. Speaking of good ones, golf, one of the better ones in the game of golf, won this weekend, Dustin Johnson.
I forgot about golf.
21st career victory for good old Dustin. Passed Greg Norman for all-time wins.
Wow.
I think we're looking at a future Hall of Famer there. One thing he did really impressive, this was the 13th straight year Dustin Johnson's won a tournament.
13th straight.
He's won one from 2008 till now. He joined some pretty decent company in that up there towards the top. Tiger Woods, he won 14 straight from 96 to 2009. Lee Trevino also had 14 straight from 86 to 81. Billy Casper had 16 straight from 56 to 71. Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer both had 17 straight. Arnold's was 55 to 71. Jack's was 62 to 78.
It's a pretty nice stat you brought up there.
Yeah. So he was tied for, I think it was 76th after round one.
Wow.
But he shot his career low 61, 9 under par on Saturday. Got him right back in contention, and then he held off a strong field. The storyline of the first 2 rounds was 50-year-old Phil Mickelson had the lead going into Saturday. Then he absolutely just collapsed and didn't play well on the weekend. But Phil started off, I think it was 64-63. Rounds 1 and 2 is the first time in his career he started a tournament back-to-back rounds 64 or better, which is, I thought Phil accomplished everything he could really accomplish besides not winning the U.S. Open when it came to golf. But I guess that was one milestone there.
My boy Rory was looking good there on Thursday.
Yeah.
Started out hot. Then just, I think he
made the cut and then finished.
I think he went like 68, 69.
Yeah, and then just, I don't know, kind of fizzled out. He knows the J-Man picked him. But no picking him this week in the Rocket Mortgage Classic up in Detroit because Roy's not in the field. Really not too many good players are on the field. This is only the second year of this tournament. The inaugural one was last year, won by Nate Lashley. But according to PGAtour.com, your power rankings, the top 15, you got Brett Snedeker at 15, Kevin Na 14, Brendan Todd at 13, who he collapsed yesterday. He was right there. Sunjay M at 12th, Doc Redmond 11th, Will Gordon 10th, Tony Finau, there's a big name, 9th, Roy Sabatini 8th, Hideki Matsuyama, pretty good player there, 7th, JT Poston 6th, Patrick Reed, there's a big name, 5th, Victor Hovland 4th, Bryson DeChambeau 3rd. He keeps getting himself in contention because he's launching drives over 400 yards. Webb Simpson 2nd, and Terrell Hatton is the number 1 in the power rankings.
Why?
He says he's came within a couple shots at Harbor Town for a realistic chance to bridge his break with victories. Tops on PGA Tour in strokes gained, tee to green, and 2nd in strokes gained putting. So, some names in the tournament that aren't on the power rankings: Ricky Fowler, Jason Day, Bubba Watson, Kevin Kistner, Scotty Scheffler, and defending champion Nate Lashley.
You haven't heard from old Bubba Watson in a while, have you?
No, he hasn't been in contention for a while. So we'll see how it goes. Golf, it also is one of those leagues. They're getting a lot of guys testing positive for COVID-19. They had 2 today. Harris English and Francelli being the other one. But then they've had one, in one case, Cameron Champ last Monday tested positive, so he withdrew. Then he had 3 more tests last week, and they all 3 came back negative, which seems to be that he had a faulty original test. But he also withdrew this week, decided not to play. Phil Mickelson was originally supposed to play in Detroit when the schedule first came out, which was big for the tournament. Oh, my God, we're getting Phil. That's going to draw people. Well, he's played quite a few weeks in a row. He decided he's not going to play. It gets interesting after this week. They go to Columbus for back-to-back tournaments at the same course. I don't think that's ever been done, PGA Tour. It was supposed to be the John Deere Classic next week. Illinois said we're not doing that. So the Memorial, or the Muirfield Village, which hosts the Memorial Tournament in 2 weeks from now, which will be the first golf event that allows fans, they're going to allow 8,000 fans, they stepped up and said, we'll host the tournament the week before too. They found a sponsor, So a lot of big names will play next week because they're playing in the Memorial, so they can get practice at the course next week, then play the Memorial. And that way, if you can get a lot of guys and kind of keep them in the same area for 2 weeks, you can probably slow things down a little bit.
Who are you taking?
Who am I taking this week? I picked Bryson last week. I'm going to go with another guy who launches the ball. I'm going to go with Tony Finau this week.
Interesting.
How about you? No Rory this week.
Give me the guy who was 13th in the power rankings.
I would have to bring it back up. I don't have my tab up.
I don't remember who it was, but lucky number 13.
Lucky number 13. I will look that up really fast. Number 13 is Brandon Todd.
Brandon Todd.
Had a good week this past week.
My boy Todd.
Triple bogey killed him yesterday, so not a bad pick.
No, it really grinds my gears.
What?
Chatty neighbors. No, I don't want to go to your 4th of July barbecue guy whose name I can't remember.
It's nice of him to offer.
Yeah, but
what would it take for you to go? What would they have to be making?
I don't think any.
Is there a food that you just couldn't resist,
so.
or a drink?
No, I don't.
Spotted cow.
No.
Spotted cow and a big brisket.
Oh man, brisket. I probably
Smoked brisket.
I probably still wouldn't go.
Falls off, just melts.
I just don't like
eat and leave, dine and dash.
I just don't like strangers.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Stranger danger. Fair enough.
This will be the J-Man's Book It prediction of the week. There will be a guy who has won an MVP in either the American League or National League opt out of this coming baseball season. I just feel like it's going to happen. Some really big name's going to opt out. I haven't heard this name at all, but I could honestly see Chris Bryant doing it just because he has a 3-month-old son. He could be a guy, but hope it doesn't happen. But I'd understand if it did.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how many former MVPs are in the league right now active.
Yeah, you got Bryce Harper, Chris Bryant.
Mike Trout.
Mike Trout's won a bunch. Miguel Cabrera. It's pathetic that I can't think who he... Christian Yelich. Cody Bellinger.
I got your back.
Thank you. Who won in 17?
Jose Altuve. Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah.
Mookie Betts.
Andrew McCutchen.
Josh Donaldson.
Clayton Kershaw. Buster Posey.
Ryan
Braun. Joey Votto.
Justin Verlander.
Albert Pujols still in the league. Dustin Pedroia. I think Pedroia is retired.
All the rest.
I could definitely see one of those guys opting out.
You're going to have to hope they do, unfortunately, for your book to become correct.
Yeah, I hope my book is not correct, but I just have a feeling. J-Man's Book of Prediction of the Week is brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Travis Watchering. For life, home, auto, renters, business, workers' comp, farm, contact Travis at 219-869-4561. Also, travis.watchering@infb.com.
Yeah, we got a few minutes before the Birdie Bogey. The Birdie Bogey's got to do with the Big Ten Network's all-decade teams for basketball. I told you earlier that the football one just started today. They did 2 running backs, Saquon Barkley, former running back for Penn State,
going?
and Jonathan Taylor for Wisconsin made it, and then linebackers was Borland for Wisconsin, Devin Bush for Michigan, and Josie Jewell for Iowa. 3 good ones. Offensive line starts tomorrow. But the basketball ones, the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st team were announced last week. There's a few you can kind of probably make a debate whether or not they should have made the team.
There's only one that I think's the debate, and that is Aaron Kraft made 3rd team.
And the 3rd team had 6 guys because of a tie.
Yes. He was a media darling. I get it.
He's a good defensive player.
Good defensive player, but there are so many better players that weren't on that should have been.
Etwan Moore, Robbie Hummel.
Robbie Hummel.
I might be a little biased, but
even a guy like Malcolm Hill,
yeah.
3rd all-time league scorer in Illinois history.
How about McCamey?
McCamey only played 1 year, and his junior year was the better.
Was he only 1 year in the decade?
Yeah, he was the same age as Hummel.
Okay.
Of course, Hummel played 12 years.
Johnson and Moore.
Yeah, but he was the same age as them.
I didn't know about Jordan Murphy.
Dude, he's the second all-time leading rebounder in Big Ten
Yeah,
history.
I know, but
Dude, he was a stud, man. I could make a case for him over Zeller, and I mean
Zeller didn't make
he
it.
made it over Zeller. But I mean they look at those stats, and the second all-time leading rebounder ever Big Ten history.
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you, but
so and it was probably a little case of recency bias as well. But
the third team, you had D'Angelo Russell, Aaron Kraft, Jordan Murphy, Yogi Ferrell, Caleb Swanigan, and Juwan Johnson. Third team. Second team was, I'm doing it off the top of my head, Jared Solinger, which I thought he'd be first.
He should have been a first teamer.
But who would you take off that first team?
Frank Kaminsky, who was named the player of the decade, which that is absolutely grates my apparatus.
He was pretty good.
Let's talk 1 year, 2 years, tops.
Yeah. Okay. So you're yelling about Solinger. That was 2 years.
18.8 points per game, 8 rebounds senior year. Great. 13 points a game, 6 rebounds his junior year. Great. 4 points a game, 1 rebound sophomore year. 1.8 points a game.
Yeah, but if we're going to yell about only being good 2 years, then Evan Turner shouldn't have been on there.
Evan Turner is arguably the greatest player of this century in the Big Ten, and his 1 year was better than any of the years Kaminsky's was. Frank Kaminsky was a really good player.
But you know what also
Jaron Sullinger's
getting your team to the championship game and the Final Four.
Jaron Sullinger's top 2 years, which he's only there 2 years, better than Frank Kaminsky. Ethan Happ, better player than Frank Kaminsky.
No, I disagree
Absolutely.
No, I disagree there.
Absolutely.
I disagree there.
Carson Edwards, better than Frank Kaminsky.
I think Frank, I had no problem with Frank being named the player.
Absolutely
I had no problem with it at all.
It is a joke.
I actually was texting with guys. He was a lock, I said, for first team when we were talking about it.
Sure, first team. But player of the decade,
I saw no problem with it.
Give me Trey Burke over him.
I guess it didn't.
Who else was on the first team?
Denzel Valentine.
Nah. Take Draymond off. Give me Carson.
Draymond was on there,
Give me Cassius Winston over him, too.
Carson was on second team. Cassius, second team. Victor Oladipo, second team. Was Draymond second team? Yeah, he was first team.
Bro. Him and Valentine.
So who am I missing? Who was also on the second team that I'm missing? Did we name them all?
We might have.
Okay.
I don't remember who was Evan Turner.
Yeah.
I'm going to go look.
Well, you're going to have to hit me up with the Birdie Bogey before we run out of time here.
It is almost. I'm just going to look up Evan Turner's real quick.
I know he had a great senior year. I mean, he was player of the year, national player of the year.
20 points a game, 9.2 rebounds, 6 assists. Better than any year.
And I also was wondering at the beginning if they were even going to count. I didn't know what.
The 2009 portion, which I did not in my Birdie
Broke his
Bogey.
back.
Which is who was the all-time career leading scorer during the last decade, from 2010 to 2019.
Well, it's got to be somebody who played for 4 years.
Yes.
I'm thinking of those guys on there.
You've been rolling here lately.
I know I've been rolling, but it's got to be one of those guys on the one of the ones that made the All Big Ten team. I'm trying to think in my head. Not him. Oh, I'm between two guys. Denzel Valentine.
Nah.
Damn it.
You finally got one wrong. Got another guess?
No, I don't want
to. What's your other guess? Ethan Happ.
No. See, I forgot he was even on the second team. That was one on second team I couldn't remember who it was.
Shout out to the Quad Cities.
Yeah.
I did not count the 2009 portion of 2009, 2010, nor the 2020 portion of this year. Or Lamar Stevens would have been it.
Oh.
And the guy who would have been third, John Scherna.
Northwestern.
Yeah, no one even remembers.
Well, if you look at those teams, there was only a few schools featured on those 3 teams. There wasn't too many schools.
Yeah, it was usually. And coach of the decade was Tom Izzo.
No.
Give me John Beilein. He went to 2 national championship games.
Yep. Can't argue with you there, but Izzo's media's darling. So wrap us up there, J-Man.
Thanks for watching the Tan and J-Man show. Hope you guys have a great 4th of July. Wear a mask out in public, people, so we get a football season.
Yes,
and baseball
please.
Season. Have a great rest of the week, as I said. Smoke some meat. Blow some stuff up.
Responsibly.
We'll see you next Monday.